Good morning. This week I'm over in the North Pennines to climb one of England's most mysterious mountains. We're heading up to Nine Standards Rigg, which is home to some of the strangest summer cairns I've ever seen. Nobody knows who built them or why, and it's a peak I've wanted to climb for a long time. I'm going to do this from Kirkby Stephen, so we're looking around 9 to 10 mile for this one. Free car park, which is always nice. Just crossed Frank's Bridge, and you can see how well signed this area is, and that's because it's on the coast to coast. Following this lovely looking path here now, I'm liking this. So we're coming off here. How well marks this, man? Class. I mean, you just can't go wrong. Nice to park in a proper town for a change. More often than not, when I come to climb these type of things, it's got us parked in the middle of nowhere. I could have more than half the distance of this route, depending on where I parked. I looked at a 4.5 mile circular, but it had us parked in the middle of nowhere. Hills have eyes type territory. And after the torrid time I had last week driving over to Northumberland, I thought, if I'm coming out this week, I'm parking somewhere civilised. So that's why I decided to do the longer route. Plus, if you're driving an hour and a half, you want a bit more than 4 mile, don't you? You want a challenge. We've just come to Hartley Quarry. Our route's going to take us up this steep incline here, and I'd imagine we kind of skirt round the side. Breakfast of the quarry. Blasting, eh? We're now into the open Pennine moorland. You can see the path we're going up. It's long, not necessarily steep, but it'll be a slog. I am sweating my tits off. I've come here prepared for winter conditions. Heavy rains, severe wind chill, and when I'm getting here, it's kind of like a spring walk. It's warm as out, there's not a breath of wind, zero rain. Michael Fish wants sacking. Pretty impressive view of the quarry. I like the quarry. Do you know what? Looking at this road here, this is the road I could have done the other route from. And it's alright. Bad call. Could have saved us 1,000 feet of elevation. Bastard. Must be nice. Some nice views opening up. Bit of snow left on here. I think we are going to be heading off to the left at some point up here to the left, and that does not look nice. That looks grim. Right, this fella here is a cheater. He's parked halfway up the mountain. That's not on. We're now going to leave this road and head off to the left, where it's probably going to get a lot rougher. I'm off course. I need to be over this side of the wall. I was heading towards that. That's not big enough. That's not where we're going. That's wishful thinking, that. A little bitty thing, that. Gate. How man? What's going on here? Oh my god. You've never seen a man struggle with gates as much as me. Jump it. Dear me. Do I love the Pennines more than the lakes? Maybe's. Aye. As I said at the beginning of the video, we're heading up to have a look at some summer cairns. You've got 9 giant stone structures built on the top of a mountain. By who? Nobody knows. For what purpose? Complete mystery. There's a few theories that we'll discuss when I get up there, but it's a place I've wanted to visit for a long time and I've just never gotten round to it. The mountain itself serves no purpose to climb other than to check out these summer cairns, and I've picked a day where it's misty and moody to sort of add to the atmosphere of the video. Hopefully that pays off. So we're heading into this. Yep. Absolute land of Mordor. I don't know if that's some snow on the path there further up. Interesting. Signs even right the way up here. These coast to coast walkers get looked after like. Now coming to a fork in the road, we're going to head off to the left. We would normally descend down this way, so we'll hook round. However, avoid that path at all costs, especially in the winter. I'll tell you a little bit more about that when I get to the summit, but I am keeping well off that. Jesus! Thankfully this is not on the path, I'm just being a bit of a child. Whoa! I mean, this is deep. Get me off this. Little cairn leading the way. We're going to head off here round this path alongside Faraday Gill. So I've just come to the new flagstones that'll lead the way up to the summit. Now these is new. From what I've read, they were only laid last year, and that was to protect people from the worst of the bog, because this area up here is possibly one of the boggiest places in the Pennines. This is nice, man. I'm liking this. Even in the mist, this is nice. I'm just approaching mountain elevation now. We're just under 2,000 feet and the visibility is diabolical. There was a time where in these conditions I would panic and skits out, especially when I was by myself. The first time it ever happened was on Grisdale Pike in the Lake District. Very first mountain I climbed over there. When I came over the brow to the summit, it was just blanket fog and the wind was horrendous, and I just thought to myself, Jesus Christ, if something happens up here in certain situations, certain injuries with no phone signal, and you're left overnight, you're gonna die. So I'm a lot calmer now as I've climbed more things and a bit more experience, but that's come over years. Not weeks and months. So yeah, I'm a lot more comfortable in these types of situations now. I like it. Look at this top of little bridge here, up on the mountain. Yep, you can see why the flag stones have been laid, because if these weren't here, you'd be walking through this. I mean, that's horrendous. That's horrendous. Now that is one of the most bizarre summits I have ever seen in my life. I don't know if you can see this on the action camera, but as we get closer to them, that is unbelievable. What a sight that is. Wow. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 Standards Rigg. This is mint. This place is class. Little king's chair here. Let's check these things out. I'm buzzing here. These are brilliant. Ah, what's this? Who's left these here? For God's sake. This one looks like the main one. The biggest one. Look at the size of that. Beauty. So nobody knows the actual purpose of these things. The most likely suggestion is that there were border cairns, so they'd separate Westmoreland there and Yorkshire that side, like a dividing line. One of the more cool theories that I like is they were built to resemble an army. So when you look up from the Eden Valley, it looked like a big army on the hill, and it would deter border raiders and things like that. There's a couple of other interesting theories, you know, navigational tools, ancient ritual stones, things like that. But in my opinion, there could only be one explanation: extraterrestrials. We're just heading up here to the actual summit trig to tick off. That means we've climbed the mountain, max elevation of this one. Survey trig point, 9 Standards Rigg, 2,172 feet. Done. I love how these things just like pop out of the mist. You've got a wind shelter down there. That's a lifesaver on coast to coast, people like that. Here's somebody coming up here, another nutter. Get up! One of the strangest summits I have ever been to. I couldn't see a thing. Bringing glasses and statement there. I love it up here. People think I'm mad. I love it. Absolutely love it. Middle of nowhere. Can't beat it. When I first looked at this route, I was in two minds which way to descend. When I got to the trig point at the summit, this route had us going round circular for like a mile or two, and then it would have brought us out at the signpost where I said avoid at all costs, and we went off to the left. Now I'd read some reviews that told us just do it as an out and back, straight up and straight down, and avoid that way because the flag path runs out and it turns into absolute horrendous torrent bog. You know the film Labyrinth from the 80s? You know the bog of eternal stench? Ah, the bog! That's up beyond the trig point. So on a day like this, visually it's not going to add anything. We're going to get no views either way, so it would just add, you know, 45 minutes of absolute toil for us. If you can avoid bog, you avoid it at all costs. So I'm doing it as an out and back. A little bit of a view. Kirkby Stephen down there. Compared to that, what we've come out of. Looking nice heading down here. Lovely. I might come back and climb that little thing there that I nearly went up this morning. What a lovely shape that is. Is that like a tarn in that crevice bit there? I'll come back to climb that. I'm now back on the paved road that'll lead us back to civilization in about a mile or two, so we'll wrap this one up. The walk itself, possibly one of the easiest 2000ers I've ever climbed. I kind of think of an easier mountain elevation climb than I've just did there. Long but very, very gradual ascent. So it was a doddle. The summit, probably the most bizarre thing I've ever seen on top of a mountain. What were them things built for? I've got no idea. The amount of effort it must have took to build 9 of them gets at that elevation, unbelievable. But yeah, all around a great day. The rain's kept off, start to spit now. I would have liked to spend a little bit more time on the summit, but yeah, heavy rain's forecast this afternoon, so I thought, nah, I'll get down. You can watch another one of my videos here if you like, and if you're new here and you enjoyed the video, whack the subscribe button up here, and I will catch you next time.